I'm sorry, Anthony Brindisi, the assemblyman, got kind of bumped a little bit. Aaron, we never know when she was. We didn't know when she was going to call, and she's called in. Good morning, Anthony Brindisi. Good morning.
I will get bumped by Aaron Hamlin any day of the week. So.
Yeah. How about? I mean, what a class act, Anthony. Right?
She is something to be very proud of in our region. She represents us so well. She is a great Olympian. We're very proud of her back home, and she's really put Central New York on the map for good reasons.
I want to play a little bit of a clip here from the Congresswoman who made a statement yesterday that has gone viral and has been covered across the country.
Amount of crimes of virtually any other
but they tend to vote Republican. They tend to be white. Most gun crimes are occurring in what's euphemistically called the inner cities, involving minorities, and they're the ones that Democrats generally are going to bend over backwards to protect, so you don't hear about mandatory prison sentences for people involved in gun crimes, say in Albany, New York, or downtown Utica.
Yeah, well, the guy, obviously, there's a lot of politics in it. It's interesting that so many of these people that commit the mass murders end up being Democrats, but we don't want to. The media doesn't talk about that either.
Oh, the evil media! We just do not talk about that stuff. Your comments on that comment?
I think our Congresswoman is in a very dark place right now, and to me, as a leader, whether you're the president, whether you're a member of Congress, whatever. Your job is really to try and bring people together, to rise above these politics, these petty politics, and to not get down in the mud. What we see time and time again from our representative here in upstate New York is that she just wants to continue to play on hate, to create fear, and to try and divide people. And those comments are shameful. It's a toxic kind of rhetoric that's leading to a downfall of the discourse in this country. It's unfortunate that she is putting us on the map here in central New York and the southern tier for the wrong reasons. It's sad.
I saw in your...
I have to say, I thought it was embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed when I talk to people across the country that I know that say, what is she talking about?
I did see I mentioned this morning in the article in the OD. I don't know if you pointed to this or the reporter asked about it, but this is at least the second time in a short amount of time that she's kind of cast this net on Democrats. Recently, it was the those who didn't stand at the State of the Union were un-American or hated America, something like that. And she specifically
they don't
said
love America.
Democrats, yeah.
Well, for those who know her best, we know that these kind of unhinged comments are commonplace for her. They've seemed to have increased in the last few weeks. She's made that statement about people not standing are un-American or defending domestic abuse perpetrators who are working in the White House, calling domestic abuse that it's not a crime of character, saying this latest statement that the mass shootings are being committed by Democrats. I mean, come on, give me a break. You're a representative in Congress. You are a member of Congress. Act like it. Grow up and act like it, and actually do something for your constituents here instead of going out there on cable news every other day, trying to pump up your profile instead of representing the people here in upstate New York that you were elected to represent. This is like an audition for her to try and go somewhere else. Who knows? But it's unfortunate that we've gone from who I think is a very outstanding representative, someone like Richard Hanna, who could make you proud, or Sherry Bollard or Mike Arcuri, to what we have right now.
You want to follow up on that?
I just want another question on the NRA. You know, is there a demonization here going on? I'm seeing it in Florida as an observer, that there's a demonization of anybody involved or accepting money from the NRA. Is this also an unhealthy way to look at this problem? And what are your thoughts on what you're hearing out of the discussion in Florida?
Well, look, the issue with money in politics is the biggest problem that we have right now, and whether it's money being pumped in by the gun lobby, whether it's our Congresswoman taking over $100,000 from the financial sector and then voting for bills to repeal financial regulations that were put in place after the collapse of 2007, 2008, whether it's her taking money from the big internet service providers and the telecommunications companies and then voting to allow them to sell our personal information over the internet. Money in politics is the biggest problem we have in this country right now. she's knee deep in it, and it's unfortunate that it can't lead. We can't get away from that, so we can actually get back to common sense solutions to try and prevent mass shootings, to try and put policies in place that actually help working people in this country.
Is the NRA to blame? Do they have a hand in this?
Well, look, the NRA certainly has a hand in preventing any kind of reforms from coming to light. It's unfortunate because I know that there are Democrats and Republicans in the middle who want to pass some common sense reforms to try and prevent these mass shootings. But you have a group spending money to try and prevent anything from happening. You can't even get a bill like bump stocks passed, banning that because of the influence from outside sources. So it's unfortunate.
It does seem the president has said he would like to see those banned.
Why weren't they banned right after the Las Vegas shooting?
Right,
I mean,
right.
we're talking about it still months later.
Yeah. What would you, in terms of what legislation could you vote for when it comes to gun legislation? Is it about mental health? What would work for you?
I think there's a number of things you have to do. It's about mental health. We talk about this every year in the state here and see money being taken away from mental health services. We see money being taken away from education. We need more social workers. We need more school psychologists in the schools to help deal with these issues before they bubble up. I think we need to have better background checks. We need to make sure that these kinds of semi-automatic rifles are not getting into the hands of criminals and people with mental illness. So there's a lot of common sense reforms we can be making, but there's an unwillingness to sit down and talk about anything right now, which is unfortunate. And when you talk to many gun owners, and I've talked to many of them, I think that there's a number of things that they would be willing to support, too, common sense reforms that we should be getting passed right now.
Listen, I don't know that I see anything getting done. Do you see something getting done in Washington right now?
I don't see much getting done in Washington now on any type of issue that is important for people in this district or for people in this country. When you have extremes governing, this is what you get. You get nothing done because everyone wants to retreat to their base and not actually work and reach across the aisle. That's why we need more people in Washington who can actually get things done, who can reach across the aisle, who aren't worried about party, but worried about people. They're worried about getting things done for the people they represent. I've
got 10 seconds, 15 seconds. What are you going to say to the people of Herkimer County tomorrow? I believe that breakfast is tomorrow with the chamber.
Well, I think we're going to talk about whatever legislative issues are on their mind. Certainly, I'm happy to talk about whatever comes up. I enjoy actually getting in front of groups of people and taking questions. I'm not afraid to back down from comments or statements I've made, and looking forward to having a healthy debate.
All right. Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi, we appreciate you taking the time. We'll continue this conversation on the other side. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.